Hello. La 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 la. Whoops. Hello. All right, Nolan. La 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 Spoilers. Yeah, there we go. What's up? Okay. Hey everyone, what's up? Thanks for the raid. I guess I'll start. How you guys doing? Let me mute myself. You have a good stream? Right. So I'm gonna be playing 7 indie games that I really like when I started making games. So these are really small, kind of experimental, arty indie games. And I guess I'll quickly set this up. So the first one I'm gonna give a go is Passage. So it's been a little while since I've played Passage, but when I started making games, this one kind of changed a little bit how I saw games. So this is a game by a guy called Jason Rohr. Bear with me guys, sorry. Yeah, here we go. So it's like a 5-minute game, so it's a pretty quick one to speedrun. If you can really consider it a speedrun type game. But yeah, it's like kind of an arty game about life, I guess. And all you do is like walk right, and you can choose to interact with the lady in the game, and then if you do, your hitbox gets bigger, and it kind of constricts your movement to navigate this maze below you. And I always thought that was kind of interesting when I was starting out, just as kind of like a metaphorical mechanic for being in a relationship or something, because you can actually find pieces of treasure throughout this maze, and if you're like on your own, if you don't choose to like interact with the lady, like the hitbox is a lot smaller, so and yeah, I don't know, I always liked this game. I always thought it was cool. It kind of changed how I viewed and interpreted like what video games could be. It's not necessarily like a fun game, but it's like a thinky game, which is kind of a lot of what the games I'll be showing you are like. They're like kind of thinky. I always like the kind of aspect ratio of this game, because it kind of feels like a timeline, and like as you get older, basically as you walk, you kind of get older, and the pixels desaturate. So I kind of always appreciated like the visual storytelling element to it, in that you know, like Jason kind of tells a story just with a few color changes, and like you can see that the character that I'm playing as is like slowly losing their hair, and the idea that when you're young, their future, so like the right of the screen, is really blurry, and so it's a little bit of a metaphor for being young and not being a little bit uncertain about the future. And as you age and you get older, like in in this game now, I think the left of the screen starts to kind of distort and get kind of blurrier, so it's kind of like the opposite happens as you age. I always thought that was quite a powerful thing to tell in a video game, and so this one kind of stuck with me throughout the years, and I feel like if I can make something as powerful as this, I don't know, I'll probably retire from making games. So Jason Rohr's an interesting game designer as well. He's a little bit of a hippie. I think, what year was this? This was made in 2007 as well, so it's old, but not that old, not retro, I guess, but I think this was a custom engine this was made in as well. But a lot of the games I'm gonna quickly show are like Flash games, which is kind of when I started as well. So all you do is kind of like walk right. That's pretty much the premise. I know, I recommend people check this out and like experience it for themselves. So I think when I started making games, I was like really into these kind of thinky, arty games, and then more recently I've kind of got more into, I don't know, mechanically rich games, I would say. So The Lady Dies, which is heartbreaking. So, and your hair falls out and your posture changes, like the few little pixel changes, and it's kind of a very powerful thing. And I think like a lot of games these days, they try to do like, you know, high fidelity graphics, and they tell these stories like with all this sort of fancy detail. But I think, I don't know, nothing beats Passage in my mind. So yeah, Jason Rohr's awesome. That's pretty much that game. So I'll try and get set up on the next one. It's going to be a little bit of a process. So every time I did actually make a little fancy banner. I've got like multiple monitors set up. So here we go. So yeah, that's the first one. What do you guys think of Passage? It's kind of like emo. It's a little bit depressing, but I don't know, it's kind of cool. I guess when I started, I was playing a lot of stuff like that. So most of these games are kind of a little bit like that. So so the next one is called Alpha Land. This is like a Flash game that I played, and it kind of stuck out to me. I thought it was cool. So yeah, I think this was made by so it's Jonas, but I think he's known for like another really big puzzle game that slipped my mind at the minute. We'll full screen it. So these are the creators. So this is like an early Flash game that I thought was really cool. So I used to play this at uni quite a bit. So the idea, I think, is that it's a game that's finished but in alpha state. So it was, I think I had some additional code from another game designer from Ireland called Terry Kavanagh. I never know how to pronounce his name, but he's cool. He makes interesting work. So it looks like this. I guess this is made 2011. That's what I have in my notes. I guess it looks like something like Thomas Was Alone, so it's kind of like a minimalist kind of arty platformer. I always kind of thought it was a neat idea to like, as a game designer, to make a kind of unfinished game, what looks like an unfinished game, but is actually complete, you know. I do actually think, I tested this earlier, I do think I'll have some frame rate issues. Which is, I guess, is just, I don't know, classic Flash perhaps, but if that happens, I'll just quickly, I'll switch game. I just kind of wanted to show this one off really and recommend that people play it. Don't quite know too much like why I like this, but I always thought the audio was kind of cool. I don't know if the audio is coming through actually. Yeah, that would help. Yeah, so I know the audio is kind of like trippy, and it sounds like someone talking, but then they've like reversed it. And I don't know, it kind of left a little bit of an impression on me for some reason. As you progress, like assets kind of appear and like colors appear. So it's as if like in the beginning of the game, it's all kind of unfinished and broken and fragmented, and then as you progress, it's like you know, pieces of this game kind of like formalize. But yeah, I think I start to get frame rate issues around here, so we'll see if that happens this time. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you guys know about any of these games, Passage or Alpha Land. I feel like they're a little bit like, those designers are a little bit like popular in the 2000s. Oh, yeah, here we go. So we've got some frame rate issues here, which is a shame. Never used to do this, but it might be my computer. It might just be Flash. But I don't know. I recommend checking it out, and if hopefully you guys don't get frame rate issues, but it's kind of an interesting one. Put quality in low. Yeah, nothing changed. Oh, maybe I meant to go right. Yeah, it's tricky. Anyway, I'll probably move on to the yeah, the low quality pixel art, indeed. Yeah, so that's a cool. I'll leave that for now, just because it's not the best to play in low frame rate. But if you guys check it out, hopefully it's good for you guys. I don't know. There's a comment on here from 2016 that I found of myself, which is kind of cool. Just on Newgrounds. Okay, another game. I'm gonna check out. Wait, I got a sick. I'm all over the place. I got a sick little. I made this especially for today. A little changing video game. Splash screen. Okay, I'll close Alpha Land. So the next game is Terry Cavanagh game as well. It's called Pathways. I feel like it's one of his like more obscure, unknown games. Kind of experimental storytelling game. A lot of the games I'm showing are kind of like experimental storytelling ones. Okay. Let's quickly. One sec, guys. I'm having issues. Okay, so oh dear. Okay. I'm just gonna quickly end the task on Pathways. It seemed to be bugging out a little bit, so bear with me. If not, I'll maybe we'll skip Pathways because it seems to be causing issues. It was all good in testing, but there we go. We'll try again. Alright, let's see if this works. Video James, here we go. Pathways. Here we go. Sweet, got there eventually. So yeah, it's weird, like whenever I try and close it, it doesn't like on my computer, so I guess it's the nature of some of these kind of like early indie games, they're like a little bit temperamental. Um, so yeah, in this it's like you play as this little dude, and all you can do is move right. So I guess it's similar to Passage in a way, but you can actually make a choice in the direction that you go. And so you meet all these different characters. This is another one of those games that's kind of like arty, and I feel like around this time, like sort of 2009, this was made. Yeah, I feel like around that time a lot of people, indies were maybe doing stuff like this. It's this like weird monster dude. You can kill him. Can put some flowers on a grave. So yeah, the idea is like, yeah, I guess you tick off like up to 8 different directions in the game. So we'll go up this time. So 2 paths out of 8. I'm not sure what engine this was made in, probably Flash as well, but I'm not too sure. I tried to look it up, but couldn't actually find it. I think I can take a different direction at some point. Yeah, so like the little glitchy pixel section, it shows you, I think, the parts you've already been. So Terry Cabana has made like really cool games. He's done like a game called V, and he made a game called Don't Look Back, and a really awesome, really hardcore game called Super Hexagon. So he's done he's made tons of different games, to be fair. Another cool experimental one called Constellation as well. So I feel like his work is like worth studying, and I don't know, picking apart is kind of interesting. Yeah, pretty cool. I always find the music kind of like hypnotic and relaxing. It's pretty interesting. So I've already been down. Is this the pub? Yeah, you go to a pub and then you kind of like wobble about. I always thought it was like cute, but I think you get in a bar fight maybe. Yeah. Yeah, and then you walk backwards. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I thought it was cool. It's like a series of different stories depending on like the choices you make and the path that you go down. Um, so I don't know, it feels kind of similar to Passage in a way, but a little bit different, I guess. So you get drunk and then you wobble about. That's kind of cool way of like depicting being drunk in a video game, I guess. Like a real simple little up and down movement. Pretty cool. Yeah, I see you asked a question earlier. Sorry, like my Windows obscuring chat at the minute. I don't want to come out because come out of the game because it will like mess with everything. But you asked a question a little while ago. Do you incorporate any of these ideas into your work? I think I used to more so. Like, there's a game. A lot of the games like that I played at uni, I would basically make my own version of them in a way. Um, so a game I'm playing after this one is I made a game that's kind of quite heavily influenced by that one. But no, I think as well as a game designer, for me, I try to like create like strong emotional responses in players. Like that's kind of a goal of mine, I guess. It's quite a hard thing to do, but it's always something to like aim for. Is to like, whether that is like someone like cheering or like putting their fist in the air, or like I know getting emotional or laughing or feeling fear, depending on what the genre is that I'm working in. I think it's always a bit of I think it's cool to kind of like push for really strong and visceral emotional responses. And I think that when I started out, like these kinds of games elicited quite strong emotional responses. So do I go up or do I go right? I can't even remember. Is that it? I think that's it. That is very good. It's been a long time since I played that, so it's kind of cool. It's a little bit of a trip down memory lane playing some of these. So okay, so I usually have some issues closing this game when I tested it, so it's gonna be a little bit of a process again. Yeah, just automatically as soon as I close that, I just get not responding. So things are gonna be weird. There we go. All right, I'll read chat for a little bit. One sec. Super Hexagon hype. Hell yeah, Super Hexagon's awesome. Oh, that's cool. You've never seen any of these games before. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's I kind of get a kick out of recommending games to people that people haven't played or heard of before. So that's cool. Right. So next game. this one is similar as well to like the last game. I mean, these are kind of adhere to a similar style, so, or kind of mechanical structure in that like you take different paths and they're about player agency, maybe like making certain choices. So I think this is a game Molly Industria, who does like a lot of political games. This was made in 2009 in Flash as well. And it was made in 6 days as well for the experimental gameplay project under the theme Art Game. And so the game's about like alienation and the refusal of labor. So it's kind of like an anti-work game, I guess. Always thought that was kind of cool and interesting. So yeah, I don't know. Like at uni, a lot of my peers would do games that were maybe I don't know, just kind of like simple little platformers and things that maybe didn't like they weren't maybe saying very much, right? And for me, I always kind of like games that said something, not to like, you know, bash on simple little platformers, because I don't know, sometimes it's nice if games are just like fun or whatever. So but yeah, like this is cool. This is every day the same dream, and the game loop is that you just play this character and then you go to work, and then you kind of like wake up in your bed each day. It's kind of interesting. Everything's in black and white. It reminds me of a film called Office Space by, is it Mike Judge, who made Beavis and Butthead? I am pro anti-work. Yeah. So you get dressed in a suit and you go to work. There's a boss there like shouting at you. When I started making games, I would do vector art, so I learned how to do art in like Adobe Illustrator, which is Illustrator, you just make basic shapes. And the art style for this looks like it's Flash, but Flash is also vector based as well, like Illustrator, so it was similar. But I don't know, this had really cool, like the composition of this is really interesting, like the repetition of that scene is really interesting, and the visual hierarchy of the red on the alarm here is kind of interesting too. So I don't know, I learned a lot about doing art for games from games like this, I think. So we can go to work like naked if you want, like you don't have to put clothes on, which is kind of interesting. Brad has upper management written all over. This is my wife. All these games as well. It's like it's always a wife. I don't know why. It's like. So I can get the elevator just like in my pants. Elevator lady. 5 more steps and you'll be a new person. Fantastic. Oh no, no game. How embarrassing. Sorry guys. I rehearsed, I swear, I'm so sorry. Okay, so it looks like this. I don't know if you guys have played this game either. I think if I hang around this leaf for long enough, it eventually falls. There we go. Oh, I can look at the leaf. Yeah, that's cool. It's like a game designer, like, or it's a game artist to like, I don't know, think about visual hierarchy and clarity. I got fired for going to work without clothes. You enjoyed Office Space. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, this game always kind of reminds me of Office Space for some reason. 3 more steps and you'll be a new person. Beautiful. God, I was lucky I read chat when you were like, the game's not shut. That little splash screen I made me is like working against me now. Okay, so talk to this homeless dude. That actually looks a little bit like me. I can take you to a quiet place. Cool. Takes me to a graveyard. A lot of graveyards in these games. Cool. TV off. Talk to my wife. So a lot of the games made by like Molly Industria are kind of really interesting. A lot of them feel like social commentary and like highly experimental, mostly flash games from what I'm aware. I'm gonna get out of my car and then go the other way. You go see a cow, it's kind of cool. If you're stressed with work, I'd recommend going to look at cows. It's kind of a good shout. Touch a little cow on the nose, it's pretty good. So cool. I don't know if you're late if you go and interact with the cow, maybe. Sales are going down, guys. I'm late again. Cool. Cool, yeah, that's pretty much it for this game. I won't spoil the ending. But yeah, I recommend checking that one out as well. It's pretty cool. So the next game is like a music video game. It's called Inside a Dead Skyscraper. I always thought this was kind of cool. So it's like someone had made, I remember to switch back my thing this time. Someone had made like a song. So the song's called The Building by Jesse Styles. And I think it was about him working in insurance in a partially destroyed building surrounding the World Trade Center. So pretty intense. But I don't know, I remember playing this game and I thought it was kind of interesting. I'm really into music, so I kind of like the idea that of like combining those two things and having kind of like a music video game. What's up? Yeah. There are video games here. So yeah, this is just a song, really. So it's just, yeah, like, I don't know, a song plays, you can fly around and talk to people. They say different things. Like, I like the idea that you're kind of reading reading their thoughts and like time is paused. I think that's kind of neat. Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of like meditative, I guess, and chill. You just like fly around and enjoy the music, really. Like, I'm kind of keen to do something like this one day, but I don't know, more with the sort of music I'm into. But I thought this was cool when this come out. Again, like the art style looks like it's been done in like Illustrator. It's probably Flash though, but these sort of clean, basic shapes was really cool. All my early games were like really clean vector style art. Cute little animation of it flying as well. That's cool, Nolan. The art still holds up, yeah, for sure. Well, I feel like with stylized games, like they can be timeless in a way, you know. I think I can get a balloon for some kid. Yeah, there's like a little kid here. You get a little balloon. It's pretty cute. I think that's it. That's the game. It's really short and sweet. Mine were inspired by letterpress. Oh, that's cool. I think that's it for that game. Yeah, it just loops around, which is cool. Then the next game is Ether. I'll unmute. Full screen. Hopefully we don't get frame rate issues. Yeah, so this is Ether. Probably, this was also made by Tyler Glale, who made a game called Closure as well, which I don't know if that it's basically like Closure's like a black and white game that I want to say it's like predates Limbo, but anyway, we're talking about Ether. Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, if you've seen Indie Game the movie, you've seen that Edmund talks about Ether. And the idea is that you play as this like little character who gets on the back of a little monster and you fly around in space. And this game's, I think, autobiographical on Edmund Macmillan's behalf. It's about his like childhood and what it felt like to be kind of like a weird kind of outsider kid. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a big fan of Edmund. He's probably like one of my biggest influences as a game artist and designer, and I wanted to kind of just throw one of his games in the mix, just because when I was studying at uni, playing a lot of Flash games, like his work's obviously like a big part of that. So it's been a little while since I played this one as well, but it's quite cool. Has interest in like kind of physics, so you can like move with WASD and then click to like spit out this little line renderer of sorts, and then use that to kind of like project you up into the clouds and into the sky. It's another like kind of chill game as well. It's the music's kind of pretty, and yeah, you just kind of like fly around in space and like you talk to these different little creatures. It's kind of interesting. So I'll try and get to Little Planet and talk to some people. Yeah, I have a lot of hours in Isaac as well. It's, that's probably my favourite game. I got like a signed poster just to the right of me. I love Binding of Isaac. So again, it's kind of like, I'm showing you a lot of kind of like emo games. I guess I was like angsty back when I was more angsty when I was playing these games, but. How do I get out? Oh no. Yeah, the art style is kind of cool in this. Like everything's like pastel almost, and then I know I always like the way like Edmund shades things as well. Like everything feels like shaded in threes as well, like the rule of odds almost. So. Physics are a little bit tricky. What's he say? Oh. Surely. I think so. Edmund's also what? He wasn't as a teen. Yeah, that's true. I think Edmund's working with Tyler again on a new game, Nugenics, which looks really cool. It's kind of like a cat simulator RPG of sorts. It looks really cool. Surely. Okay, I can't get out of here. Yeah, I mostly played games on Newgrounds and Congregate as well. I tried to play stuff that's like mainly like small teams, just because like when I started making games, I don't know, the reference point was just play stuff that the amount of people that worked on it was kind of where we were at as devs, so so yeah, that's Ether. I recommend checking that out. I didn't have too much to say about that really, just other than the fact that I love Edmund's like art style and things, and just like how his work is often like deeply personal and autobiographical as well. So that was made 2008 in September in Flash as well. I recommend checking it out. It's pretty chill. A little bit awkward to control, but it's kind of fun. Cool. the next game. So this is a game called Circle Pit Manager. This is another weird. Let me hit that. So this is another kind of like. This is a game that came out like 2020, so it's like a little bit weird, a little bit experimental. I'll hit. Yeah. So I run a game jam called the Hardcore Punk Game Jam, and so like all of those games that I played in the early days, when I started making games, I was like, oh, I want to like basically host like my own event in order to kind of nurture the kind of person I am and the type of games that I like to play, and then have people do like both personal and political games. And then I've sort of created this like Discord server where we have just a bunch of like weird punk game developers making experimental games. And so I've run it for a few years, but it's been a little while. So this is something that got made for that, and this was the first ever time I run it in 2020, sorry. And I think it's really simple and really silly. It's just you run around and it's like a mosh pit game. I don't know, I thought it was cool. So this actually won the first game jam. It got like the most punk game award, just because I thought it was cool, and you don't see too many games like this. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought I'd throw this in the mix just because it's I don't know, like a palate cleanser from all the kind of arty emo games. So yeah. This was made by 3 people, so Nicole, Nick, Muse, and Steve. The music was from an old punk band from their old punk town in Long Island, New York. So a little bit of trivia. It was made in Game Maker as well, so it's the game engine. I don't think there's an end state, you just run around and like mosh, so it's just an experimental little prototype, and I always thought that was cool. So it's got like a Black Flag t-shirt. Cool. So that's that. When you said meditative bars and music earlier, I was thinking Knock Loose and Stray from the Past don't really end this up. That's cool. That's cool you reference Knock Loose. I'm a fan of Knock Loose. Cool. I've actually played my 7 games that I said I would. A little bit clunky, but we got there eventually. I can show you as well like a game I'm working on for the remainder of the time, if that's cool. I thought those would take a little bit longer to play, but I kind of rambled and got through. Bonus game, yeah. So I'll show you guys the game I'm working on. Here it is. So it's I'll try and explain it. It's like a Sokoban puzzle game set in an exclusive nightclub where you play as a graffiti artist who all she wants to do is spray paint her tag everywhere, and her name is Maud, and she's named after a Hal Ashby movie called Harold and Maude, if you're familiar with that movie. But she's also a little bit inspired by like the cool version of Lisa Simpson, like that episode of The Simpsons when Lisa tries to like act cool and she gets like a tie-dye shirt and tries to impress these like older kids. So the character's kind of a little bit inspired by that. Block moshing game. Yeah, it's a little bit similar to Circle Pit Manager. So, you know, that game jam kind of influenced the kind of work that I'm doing today. And that was like 4 years ago. So, yeah, we'll start. So the idea is that this is the nightclub that you're in. This is a little window here. You're just spray painting outside. You can go to the window. There's a guy with a big cigar. He basically sells you the ticket for the club, and you're like, oh, what's this about? This is a bit weird. This dude's here. You can click him and he spits out random lines of dialogue to you, and it's kind of drinking rhetoric, so it's kind of like alcohol peer pressure, I guess. So stuff people say when you go out drinking. And you can ring a bell. He gives you a little ticket. You get inside the club, and you're hanging out by the DJ decks. That face made me think of Double Fine. That's cool. Yeah, he's a weird dude. I haven't got a name for him yet. I got to figure out who he's called. But yeah, so you buy a ticket from him. You're hanging out at some DJ decks. You can flick through records. This is basically the level select. And so each room of the nightclub is basically a record that you're going to be able to like select and play. So I'll just go ahead and play. So it's just classic Sokoban. You can push these little amps around. You can push people on the dance floor around. What makes it a little bit different from other Sokoban games is the characters. It's all about the characters in this Sokoban. So eventually we're gonna have loads of different people that you would meet in a nightclub, and they would behave in particular ways. So at the minute we have like a bouncer that always pushes you one tile orthogonally, and then we'll probably have a heavy metal guy that pushes you to like the furthest available cell. And like a raver girl as well we want to do that like hugs you and swaps you. So here you go, you have the little bouncers, they like push you away. I've got like a little beret on and some patches and some spray paint in my bag, which is kind of cool. So yeah, like here's a good level, here's a good puzzle we designed that like kind of demonstrates what's cool about the game. And that is like, you can't get past that to the exit. And that's like your ultimate goal. But if you put a little lamp there, it will block it, and then you're able to get past. So like Z is undo, which is like important in Sokoban as a genre convention. Really important that you have undo, I think, just to get rid of your past mistakes. So levels progressively get harder. We so far have like 30 levels in the game. So then you're taught here that if you push this little dancing character into the bouncers, that affects that too. This is a really cool level. This is one of my favorite levels that we made. It's like, because it looks kind of simple to solve. I really like puzzles that look relatively easy, but they're a little bit thinky. So it's kind of like, I don't know, elegant puzzle design or something. So I have to go up and around this bouncer. Can undo. If you guys are interested in a build, I can send you a special link with a password and you can try out for yourself as well. So I kind of know all these levels by heart by now, so I can just kind of like blitz through them. But we started working on this in November as well. So we did a game jam, the Crazy Games web game jam. The theme was Everything is a Remix. Yeah, so we just we ended up making Sokoban just because I kind of love Sokoban games. Love crawling through the vents in the club. Yeah, so you as well, like you'll see some influence of Binding of Isaac as well. So I talk about Ether earlier, and like this compositionally, just the screen, you know, like the four walls and the perspective is a little bit inspired by Binding of Isaac, and just like the line art and things like the pure black outline on the characters and things for some amount of visual hierarchy is like a little bit like early 2000s flash game art. So try and honor the roots a little bit of like the era in which we started making games in. So okay, this one I can't even remember how to solve. So I've got to basically get a character like all the way down bottom right. Yeah, I can't remember. Kind of reminds you of World of Goo, Little Inferno art style tool. That's cool. That's a nice compliment. I love both of those games. Oh, what's up? Thank you for the kind words. You met me at Pocket Gamer Connects. That's nice. Cool, they're ready whenever you want to raid. Awesome. So yeah. That's yeah, so that's Club Soko. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for like watching me ramble about RE indie games. Oh, what's up, Adam? How you doing, man? Thanks for letting me show my game as well. Hope everyone donates, and thank you for letting me be a part of this. Cheers, Nolan, for inviting me originally as well, and thanks like for the organizers as well. I will raid. So I'm raiding Soul 10 Gaming. He's live, so they're live. Let's raid. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Yay! Have a good one.
Okay, I guess we are online. Well, welcome everybody. Hopefully you all had a just joining the your Soul 10 Gaming over here, and we're streaming today in support of Defeating Games for Charity, a video game marathon raising money for the Video Game History Foundation.